Hi, this is Trey Passer. I'm going to give you my worst of movies of 2017. Now, these are movies that I actually have seen. Not movies that I haven't seen, heard of, because I made a conscious effort a couple of years ago to make sure that I didn't see movies that I knew going in, I knew that were going to be bad. Those movies being Flatliners, Chips. Okay, I just knew going in from the trailers that they were going to be awful, so I didn't see those two movies. And I know that's on a lot of people's list as worst movies, but I didn't see them. So, but I knew going in they were going to be horrible, so I didn't see them. So these are only movies that I actually saw. So, so these are my list, the top 10 for 2017. Okay, and let me, I guess this is no particular order. I'll tell you, again, this is going to have spoilers in it because I'm going to tell you why I didn't like these movies. Okay, number 10, Rings. This was a remake. This actually had the guy from The Big Bang Theory, Johnny Galecki. He was in it. And it was really stupid about this couple. They saw the tape and all that stuff. It's basically a remake, and it was just awful. No tension in it at all, and I mean, just horrible. This is actually a remake of the remake because the original movie, of course, was a Japanese horror movie, which is really good. And this one was just uh, mandering, and just again, the lead actress did really stupid things in this movie that made no sense. Okay, and just really forgettable. I didn't even know why they did try to remake it because it was just awful. Okay, and so that's number 10. Number 9 on my list is The Dark Tower. This movie stars Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, of course, based on the Stephen King series of novels. And this came out in August, and I was looking forward to this because I saw the trailers and it looked interesting. But what we got actually was a 95-minute mess of a movie. It looked like they edited the crap out of this movie. A movie because this is a series of books based on a whole other universe and the gunslinger characters and the man in black and all that stuff. It's a complicated story to tell, and how they tried to squeeze that into 95 minutes was absolutely ridiculous. It's basically a waste of Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba's talent. Even a young kid that was in the movie, he was really good as well. But they really should have either made it a Netflix series, so they could have done it over a series of like maybe 13 episodes or something. So that way you'd have gave it time to breathe, and it would have been proper instead of trying to squeeze it into like a 95-minute movie. That was just horrible, and I blame whoever the producers were because that was horrible. Because this is a complicated story. The story is a complicated story, and you try to squeeze it into 95 minutes, and you got a mess. And that, again, I blame that on the producers who, like I said, they either should have put it on Netflix or HBO. I think even HBO would have been probably even better, as a miniseries, like 13 episodes or whatever, or even on Netflix, and it would have made sense. And then you could have took its time, and then that way you could have got Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey to do something like that on HBO. Because remember, Matthew McConaughey did True Detective with the first season, which was great. Second season blew ass, blew chunks. But they should have done that, and that would have been a lot better for this type of miniseries. So hopefully, maybe going forward, if they decide to do it down the line, they'll either put it on Netflix or HBO as a miniseries, and that would be the best thing for Dark Tower because it's a series of books and you got a whole backstory, and it's better to do that than try to squeeze all that complicated backstory into a 95-minute movie. Okay, now number 8, Atomic Blonde. This movie stars James McAvoy and of course Charlize Theron, and it took place during the Cold War. And this movie, from the trailers, it made it look like it was going to be a total kick-ass movie, and it wasn't. Okay, and a large part of it, I blame on, I guess, the writer of this movie because Charlize Theron was good in the action scene. There's some brutal fight scenes with her that she pulls off that are just absolutely great. But James McAvoy is like hamming it up throughout this movie, and it became a mess. And it wanted to be this tough spy guy thriller thing, but it didn't. The writing of it was absolutely awful and a waste of the talents of the people involved in it. And John Goodman, I think, was in it too, and Toby, I forgot the guy's name, Toby something. But it was a waste of all their talent with this horrible script, and that's why it's on my worst of 2017 list. And the next movie is Transformers: The Last Night. Again, you go see these movies. Basically, people go see these movies for the giant robots. Let's be honest. you're not going for this movie for the great story in it. And the story again, they put, I guess Anthony Hopkins needed money, and I because they got Anthony Hopkins to be in this. Of course, Mark Wahlberg came in from the last movie in this, and they actually got the young actress in this movie was actually probably one of the best parts of this. They got this model actress to be some kind of professor and some, of course, you know how they show smart women that are really models are really hot. They put her hair up in a bun, put her glasses on, put glasses on her to try to disguise her, but she looks like a Victoria's Secret model. Okay, and you see later in the movie when she lets her hair down and take off her glasses. She looks stunning, but a running joke in the movie is supposed to be that her aunts and her mother are trying to fix her up because she can't find a date. Trust me, Victoria's Secret models, the last thing they need is dates. Okay, they have plenty of dates. Okay, and they could be disturbed. They could be discerning. There's no way in the world a woman like that is going to be looking for dates. Okay, and Optimus Prime, the whole him going bad, and then checking himself just needlessly, and just they really need to get somebody else to write these movies. And I don't have a problem with Michael Bay's direction as much as they need somebody to write a good script for a Transformers movie. That's what they really need, because they're just horribly written. I'm sorry, and as long as they keep making money, I guess they're gonna keep making them because they keep making money, no matter how horrible they are. They make money worldwide, so that's why they keep making them. But I'm sorry, this movie was again just another forgettable movie. Okay, the next movie on my list is The Mummy. This was supposed to be the start of the Dark Universe for Universal. Of course, stars Tom Cruise, and just again such a disappointment. Uh, when they announced this Dark Universe, I'm a big Universal horror fan from the old school, and I was so looking forward to this movie so much. But again, they were trying to make this a mix of the Brandon Fraser Mummy and the old school horror, and it became a mess. It really did, and it was just basically a waste of Tom Cruise's time, to me, in my opinion. Just they had him trying to be the smart alecky character, of course, and having this banter with the woman, I forgot her name, Annabelle Wallis, I think that's her name. She's a good actress, but I'm sorry, if you're gonna go with the Dark Universe thing, you go one way. Stop trying to make it a mix. They released it in the summer, so they didn't. I think they would have went for a straight horror movie and released it in October. I think you'd have been better off going that way, especially if it's supposed to be a Dark Universe and connect it all together. And then you had Russell Crowe in there as Dr. Jekyll. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't have minded his character in that if this movie was like a straight horror movie. I think that would have been better than trying to do this mix of comedy, action, and horror, which was an absolute mess. And I like the actress who, I forgot her name again, the actress who played the Mummy character. Uh, I think she's a good actress, and I wouldn't mind the Mummy character, but in a serious horror movie, then it would have been better. But what you got was a mix of a mess of trying to blend the Brandon Fraser type thing, an action, comedy, horror, and it was just not a good movie. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. Okay, and so now the Dark Universe, I think, is basically shot to hell for now, unfortunately, which is a real shame because I love Universal horror. Anyway, the next movie on my list is Baywatch. Now, the reason, of course, this movie stars The Rock, Zac Efron, and you got a lot of gorgeous women in this movie, and they missed the whole point of the whole Baywatch. The reason why Baywatch was a success on TV was because of the girls in the bikinis and the campiness of it. And they were trying for a straight comedy, and it was just a mess. And they tried to uh, put a serious crime story with the Baywatch, with the comedy and the girls in the bikini, and you had the nerdy guy that really liked the hot chick. They had that in there, and they had Zac Efron flirting with the other hot chick, and The Rock. He was just basically a straight guy in this movie. Okay, and it became like a mess. They missed the whole point of Baywatch. They should have either went for a straight parody of this, and I think that would have worked better, and and made it like an episode of Baywatch instead of trying to mix all these serious genres together. They had a serious story going on with this gorgeous. I forgot the actress that was on the TV show. They had her, the Indian actress, had her being a this crime lord, and it was just and then them going undercover, and it was just a mess. And Zac Efron was basically like he was like the sort of like this. I guess he was this. He was like sort of like the straight man in a way, in Iraq, and everybody else was being comedians. But it was just a mess. And again, it didn't make any money because it was a mess. They should have went for a straight parody, and that would have worked better, like 21 Jump Street, and it would have been a lot better movie. Okay, and be self-aware. Okay, but they didn't. So anyway, the next movie on my list is Alien Covenant, which I was so looking forward to. But again, they screwed up with this because based on the other movie, I can't remember the name of the movie now, the one that came before it. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. But the way that one ended, I was looking forward to continuing Alien Covenant, but they went another whole way by bringing another whole new crew on to this story, and they got rid of the actress that was survived at the end with Michael Fassbender's character, Robot. They got rid of her in a stupid way, and she should have been in this movie. Okay, if they would have continued on from where that movie ended, Prometheus. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember the name of it. Where Prometheus ended. Okay, I think it would have been a better movie. But this way, they basically tried to, in a way, recreate aliens or Alien, I guess, by having all these different, introducing all these different characters, and then you didn't give a crap that they got killed off. Okay, and you had Michael Fassbender playing another. He was part of the best part of the movie. playing another different robot. Okay, and along with the character from from the previous movie, and it became like a cultivated mess, and it was just it really, and they didn't answer the questions about the engineers either, to my satisfaction, and it really just was a disappointment because again they should have picked up on the how it ended, how Prometheus ended, and continued on from that place with that character. I forgot the actress's name, with her character and the robot Michael. I think that was his name. I'm trying to remember what the character's name. They should continue on from them, but they totally went a totally different way by introducing a whole new crew of people that you didn't give a crap about, and when they got killed, you said, they were basically cannon fodder, and you knew going in they were going to get killed, so there was no tension in that. Okay, now, and the way it ended was stupid. I mean, you could see that coming a mile away. Okay, with the alien, with Michael, the character from the Prometheus, basically replacing the other, the good robot, and you could tell that was coming a mile away, and you saw it coming a mile away. So that sucked. Now the next movie on my list is Ghost in the Shell. Now this is of course a remake of the anime, live action version of it, and the problem with this movie again is, was Scarlett Johansson. I hate to say that because she is a good actress, but the thing is, when you cast her in a movie, especially this type of movie, all you can see is Scarlett Johansson. I mean, you see her character, and I think it would have been better off if they would have got an unknown actress to be the character she played. It was just, every time you see the movie, you see her, and that really it disappoints you because the only character that I really liked in that movie was the captain, her boss. He was a total badass in this movie, and then I went and saw I bought the anime and I watched that, and of course that was tons better, of course. But again, I think they should have cast. I understand why they cast Scarlett Johansson because she's a star, and they figured she'd have a big opening weekend. But I think that story is popular enough that if they would have cast an unknown actress in the role, I think it would have sold better. But I just think and it was her lousy acting or anything. It was just that when you see her character, you see Scarlett Johansson, and the way it played out in the story, when you see the movie, when they go into her backstory, I'm still seeing Scarlett Johansson, and that's why I think it would have worked better if they would have got an unknown actress to be the lead character. I know that's a risk because you want it to open up in the States and you want it to open up big because you get a famous actress, and I think that's what the problem was. They were scared. The producers were scared to get an unknown because they figured it would kill the box office if they got an unknown actress to be in it. But I think it might have been a better movie if you would have got an unknown unknown actress that was good. I think it would have been better, but that's just my opinion about that. Okay, now number 2 on my list is Triple X: The Return of Xander Cage. Oh my God. Now, first of all, nobody was asking for the return of Xander Cage to begin with. Okay, Vin Diesel had moved on to the Fast and Furious movies, and he's very successful with those. Okay, Xander Cage, the Triple X movie, the first one, it was okay. Okay, the one with Ice Cube was one of those, thoughtless popcorn movies, which was okay. But this movie was just awful. I mean, and there was this one particular character in this movie, the girl that was in The Vampire Diaries. I can't remember what her name is in real life, but she was so awful in this movie. I really wanted her character to die. That's how awful she was in this movie. But again, the only good character in this movie was I can't remember his name. The guy who played Ip Man. I can't remember what his name is, but he was in this movie, and he was the best thing in this movie. He was really good, and but that girl in this movie, oh, that played with the glasses, I can't remember her name in real life, but she's on Vampire Diaries, and then she left, I think, for the last 2 seasons. But she was absolutely awful. She was so annoying. I wanted her to get killed so bad. She reminded me of another character in that the movie with Robert De Niro and Zac Efron when he played the grandfather, and there was another character in there with a beard that was a comedian who's so annoying in that movie. She reminded me of him in this movie. That's how badly I wanted her to get shot in the head. Okay, I never wanted a more fictional character except that guy in the movie with Zac Efron and Rob De Niro to get killed than I wanted her character to get killed in this movie, because she was absolutely god awful. Okay, ugh. Now my number 1 movie, worst movies of 2017. I'm gonna go with Mother. Okay, Jennifer Lawrence. Okay, Darren Aronofsky, who I actually like. His movie Requiem of a Dream is probably my top 25 movies of all time. I love that movie, Requiem for a Dream, and he directed and wrote that one. I think he wrote it, but I know he directed it. But that movie was absolutely fantastic. This movie was awful. Okay, I went to see the movie because I kept seeing the commercials and stuff, and they said, "Oh, go see it," and saw the trailers. I think it might be interesting. I saw this movie, and I was scratching my head throughout the movie. Okay, and the last part of the movie, it was just absolutely god awful. I'm sorry, just god awful. And even Jennifer Lawrence, I think, says, I think they quoted her somewhere where she said that she wanted Darren Aronofsky to stop talking about the movie. He said he was just mother, 24 hours, all the time, mother, to the point where she got sick of it. Okay, and that's how I felt watching the last part of this movie. I know what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. I didn't know this going in, but I knew afterward that it was supposed to be all this Adam and Eve stuff and all this. But I'm sorry. Okay, it was awful. I'm sorry. It just got awful, and you couldn't pay me to see it again. Okay, that I would not see it. If you offered me money and said watch this movie again, I'll turn you down. That's how awful I thought Mother was. Okay, just god awful. Especially the last half of it was god awful. Oh my God, just ugh. Okay, and I say that as a Darren Aronofsky fan. I love Requiem for a Dream. That's one of my, again, like I said, my top 25 best movies. But Mother was god awful. Okay, and a waste of all the talents in that. Michelle Pfeiffer, Ed Harris, Javier Bardem, and Jennifer Lawrence. I think it was a waste of all their time. I think it really was. Okay, so that's my 10 worst movies of 2017. Let me know what you think of them. Feel free to leave comments down below. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. I have links to my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram in the description box, as well as my other channel, Paul's Views and Opinions. Please check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.